Thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. Today I wanted to talk to you about protecting your rating. Now, most people have seen on YouTube or different searches, the 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, 55-year-old rule, different levels of protection that fall under those specific time frames, as well as being permanent and total and the different protections that fall within that. So if that's something you want to hear a little bit about, and an additional way, my preferred method on protecting your rating, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. Just helps, again, get the information out to all of us. So with that, this will be a fairly short video. I just wanted to touch base on protecting your rating, right? So let's put this under the umbrella of the VA as a giant beast of an organization. There's a lot of moving pieces, and not to make excuses, but they make mistakes because they have a bunch of people that don't know all of the rules and provisions and laws. There's just so much there that it often takes appeals or higher level reviews. That's why those things are put into place to correct mistakes, really. There's even what they call basically an appeal process where they call it a clear and unmistakable error because the VA does make mistakes. So besides all the other rules, which I've done videos on, I've seen many videos online, and if you Google search it, you'll see a lot of maybe lawyer firms, so forth, go ahead and spell it out, the different levels of protection that fall under the 5, 10, 20, 55-year-old, being 100% permanent and total and so forth. But I would say that my preferred method for protecting your rating is actually going to the doctor even after your rating. I have seen circumstances and situations that have been unfavorable for veterans. I'll give you a quick example. I know of a situation where a guy went in, got rated at 100% for PTSD, then decided, yay, I got 100%, and went on with his life and did not go to any appointments, did not go to any future exams, as far as any treatment with regard to his PTSD. And evidence, everything within the VA is evidence-based. So with that in mind, you not going to any sort of follow-up treatment or medical appointments or what have you, even if you're making those, and actually, preferably, you're making those on your own and following up, even if it's on an annual basis for, your bad back or your GERD or your migraines or whatever it is, continue to go, because every time you go and it doesn't need to be to the VA. It could be to any provider you wish. Just needs to be a healthcare provider. So you can go anywhere, and just know that every time you go, what happens is you're building another layer of evidence for you, and you're getting seen, right? So, but as you're getting seen, it's another piece of evidence that shows that you still have this condition. Remember that there's 3 things for a successful claim, and that's your time in service, number 1, number 2, diagnosed condition, number 3, that nexus between. So that diagnosis, in order for that diagnosis to have weight with the VA, the diagnosis has to be something that the VA considers chronic or has residual effects to you. Now, if the chronic nature and the residual effects went away because you never went to the doctor again, it looks like, well, the problem went away. You don't need to go to the doctor anymore. Now, you can fight it. Yes, you can fight it. You could say, I was taking over-the-counter meds. I was, chewing on tan bark and drinking patchouli. Whatever you want to say to fight it, you can. But my, just personal, method is just make sure that I continue to see the doctor, refill my prescriptions, even if I have stuff left over, for the time frame, just order a new one. I'm not a big fan of pumping down a lot of medications. I'll try to push through certain things, unless the medication is a medication that is you have to at this, all these times, then that's different. But if it's, we'll just say 800 milligram Motrins, we'll just say to use something very low level, I'm not going to pop those every 3 hours if I don't have to, right? So I'm not a big fan of it if I can get away with not taking the medication. Now, that puts me in a position to where now I don't have to refill a prescription. You should always refill your prescriptions for 2 reasons. One, the prescription you have and the medication that's in that bottle can get essentially diluted over time, right? So the elements, just how long it's been, open bottle, closed bottle, open bottle, air, all that stuff, the strength of it reduces. So you should get new medication anyway. And then number 2 is that just helps as evidence, right, that you continue to refill your prescription. But make sure you go to the doctor. I would say that's my biggest thing. Oh, back to that story. So the guy stopped going, and then he got called in for a CMP exam, and that evidence was held against him, or lack of evidence really, was held against him in his CMP exam, and they reduced him. They reduced him from, I believe, if I remember right, from 100 to a 30. So drastic change. And, he appealed it and had to fight it and all that stuff, and it took some time, and we got him back to 100. But, dude, that's a lot of heartache, right? So that's just one example. And now remember that you do have these other layers of protection that should fall into place, and all of that stuff helps, but nothing is foolproof at the end of the day. You need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, not only by seeing the doctor for your current conditions, but also protecting the rating that you have. And you protect it by continuing to show the VA or having the ability to show the VA that you have, because if you use an outside provider, you can then pull that in. Also, remember that the VA is a 3-headed monster. We mostly deal with 2 of those heads, which is the Veterans Healthcare Administration and the Veterans Benefits Administration. So the Benefits Administration is the one that pays you your compensation check, and the Healthcare Administration is the one that administers care, right? The hospitals and clinics and so forth. So they don't really talk to each other super good. So out of nowhere, the VA Benefits Administration may call for that CNP exam. You may have been going to the healthcare side. The benefits side doesn't really know until they start to dig in and start requesting information. They don't know ongoing. And a good example of that is sometimes I'll hear of situations where somebody's going to the doctor for their condition. Over the years, the doctor at the VA says, "Your condition's gotten worse. What are you rated at on that? Oh, that should be higher." And the veteran thinks, "Great, I'm talking to the VA. The VA is saying it should be higher. Magically, I should get a letter in the mail that says my rating is now higher." Not going to happen. VA healthcare is not going to tell VA benefits side, "Hey, he needs a higher rating. Here's all the evidence." You have to take action and file that claim for an increase, right? So just an example on how they don't talk. So with that, bottom line, keep going to the doctor, keep being seen to continue to build evidence ongoing, so that way you don't have the fear of a reduction. All right, with that, I'll go ahead and cut it. Thanks, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.